used to think I had to have my own way, could do everything all on my own. Living my life like a one-woman play, feeling confused and alone. Still I kept holding tight to the life that I knew, till it wasn't the life I remembered. Finally admitting I hadn't a clue, I opened my arms in surrender. And I made room for grace. I just stepped aside and opened up a space. Now the blessings arrive every day, since I made room for grace. Now I want to live without making demands, asking for help when I need it, being happy just doing the best that I can, and when I stumble I won't be defeated. When I make room for grace, I just step aside and open up a space. Now the blessings arrive every day, since I made room for grace. When I kept insisting on all that I wanted, I see how I sold myself short. But when I stopped resisting, I got what I needed and so much more. When I made room for grace, I just stepped aside and opened up a space. Now the blessings arrive when I made room for grace. I just stepped aside and opened up a space. Now the blessings arrive every day, since I made room for grace. Since I made room for grace. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Had to look at the order of service and make sure I was really next. Taking off my singer hat, I'm putting on my minister hat. I love the concept of grace. It's amazing. It's been said before. But when I was a child growing up in a very fundamentalist church, I mean, we called those, the Baptists, those left-wing liberals, okay? What I was taught about grace is that the definition was unmerited favors. And the connotation given to me was, it's what God does for you, even though you don't deserve it. After 29 years in Unity, I started when I was 10, by the way. Not really. After 29 years in Unity, I have come to believe that grace is what God does for us without our having even to ask. It is God's gifts freely given every moment of every day. There is grace available to us when we open ourselves to receive it, when we will step aside and open up a space for grace to get in. So after this many years in New Thought, I was at the same church for 24 years, and I've been there long enough to see the people coming and getting excited and working the Unity principles and coming back and coming back and coming back. And one thing I noticed about some people is after 20 years in Unity, learning about abundance and prosperity principles, they really weren't leading more abundant lives. You ever experienced that? Any of you experiencing that? So I came to this conclusion: God is a good giver. So if I'm not receiving, maybe the problem was with me, right? So I've identified in myself, by the way, I'm always talking about me, but y'all just happen to be here. I've identified several blocks that we put in the way of receiving our good from God. And I want to talk to you about those today. And I think the first roadblock is that we tend to misunderstand giving and receiving. We're programmed from a young age, especially in a fundamentalist church, that to give is good, to receive is not good. You want to be a giver, not a taker. Well, there's a difference between a receiver and a taker. And there's a difference between a giver and what I call a pusher, okay? Some people that give to you till you're just like, please stop it, because you know they're going to resent you after they give it to you. There's some bargain being made. I'm going to do this for you, and then you're going to owe me. So learning to give freely from our hearts, a giver is not depleted by giving. A giver is energized by the giving. A giver gives for free and for fun. A giver gives just because it feels good to give from generosity. And by the way, that's how God gives. Amen. Not keeping score, not making a bargain with you, giving for free and for fun out of love. Now, a pusher sometimes is building up resentments and making bargains. And a taker, you don't want to be a taker, right? No one wants to be a taker. A taker is somebody who does not appreciate what is being given, who is never satisfied, who always wants more. Give me more. I need more, more, more. A receiver is somebody who is glad to receive, is appreciative, is grateful, and is not attached to what's given because they know that there is more good in the next moment. And the next, and the next. So you don't have to hold on to the good that was given to you in this moment. Manna from heaven. When they tried to save it, when they tried to hold on to it, it didn't work. It spoiled. So what I've discovered is that it requires balance in our lives. There's probably a little bit of giver and pusher and taker and receiver in all of us, right? But it's about balance. And what I have found is that the universe will find its balance. So if you're in a relationship where all you do is give, then the universe will find you somebody to balance that out, somebody to take all that you have to give. So what do you need to do to bring your relationships into better balance? Perhaps you're pushing instead of giving, right? Just some things to think about. Just if you would think as we see, I'm all about practicality. I think if I just make you feel good while you're here and then you walk out and you don't remember what I said, I haven't done my job. So I like to give you some work to do when you leave here. So practice number 1, start paying attention to how it feels when you give and how it feels when you receive. And when you have given enough that you don't feel like giving anymore and you're starting to feel resentful, stop. What would that be like? And pay attention to how it feels to receive. Usually we deflect it. We say thank you, but we tend to not take it in. When someone gives you a compliment, that's a gift. Thank you. They're giving you the gift of the way they see you. You don't have to argue with them and prove them wrong, right? Quickly, here's a story. I learned this early on. I was privileged in my 20s to be able to take care of both of my grandmothers at different times during the last months of their lives. I was a school teacher, so I had the summers off. And I had one grandmother who had been a giver all her life, actually a pusher. Like, you would come into her house and she would say, "Can I fix you something to eat? Here, take a seat. What do you want?" And you could say, "We just got back from dinner. We're completely full." And she would say, "There's pie in the refrigerator. I've got some fried chicken. I'll cook you up a hamburger. What do you want?" She wanted to give you something, and she wasn't okay if you didn't take it. That's kind of a pusher, maybe. I had another grandmother, my paternal grandmother, who was really not a nice person. There are words that come to mind, I'm not going to use them, but she used to make up Bible verses to control us. Like, "Thou shalt not leave thy towel on the floor. Jesus will come and smite you." And it took me years to figure out that a lot of what she was quoting to me wasn't actually biblical. So, not really a nice person and real good at taking. She would take anything you had to give her. My other grandmother, not so much. She was embarrassed by people giving to her. And in these last months of their lives, what I found is that my grandmother, who was kind of more of a taker, was a dream to care for. Because it was my job to be there and do things for her, and she allowed it. And it was a gift to me to be able to give to her in that way. Now, my other grandmother, whom I was much more close to and whom I loved so, so dearly, was a nightmare to take care for. She did not want me to do anything for her. "You shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't, no, don't. You shouldn't have to. I don't want you to do that. Just let me sit here in my, whatever." No, no, you did it for me when I was a kid. Why can't I do it for you now? She was not happy. She wanted to die. She spent the last several months of her life doing her best to refuse help that she actually needed. And it was so hard on my mother and myself, who were trying to care for her. That really taught me a lesson. So roadblock number 2, and that kind of brings me to that second grandmother. We feel we don't deserve it. Many of us do. I think that was the thing with my grandmother. She felt like her value was in giving to you, but that she didn't deserve to receive. Now, I'm not going to go into detail there because that's a whole other sermon, but if you've been in Unity for a while, you know, what do you do when you don't feel deserving? You do your meditations, you do your affirmations, you understand and repeat to yourself. Repetition. Practice makes progress. Yeah, perfect is the enemy of excellent. Just remember that. I need that because I want to be perfect, and I'm not. Darn it. But do your work to feel that you are deserving. And I used to have even when I started tithing in Unity, I had what I called subsistence consciousness, which is that I believed that I deserved to have enough. I believed that I deserved to have food to eat, that my child to be taken care of, that I could pay my rent, and that my car could be fixed. And when I started tithing, all of that started happening for me. Immediately, I started giving money away, and then I had everything I needed. After a few years of that, though, it occurred to me that I had never thought I deserved more than I needed, that it's possible for me to have abundance. It's possible for me to have more than enough. And I had to really, really work on that. And I had to work on that and have abundance consciousness. I don't just get what I need, I get gifts beyond what I need. I get what I need, and then God goes, here's some more. I had that feeling even in my relationship with God. Like, I would just be like, okay, I really need to go with him. I really need to, but I haven't meditated in so long. I really just can't. Just because I'm in crisis now I shouldn't come, to God now. Somehow feeling not good enough. Isn't that crazy? When you say it out loud, it's crazy. But when it's coming from the back of your head, you don't always notice those messages. So listen to those messages. What are you getting? Because here's what the Apostle Paul says about his faults that made him feel unworthy. 3 times I pleaded with, this is 2 Corinthians 12, 8 and 9. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord about this fault. He doesn't say what it is, that it should leave me. But the Lord said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. My power is made perfect in weakness. So that is God, a frugal God who uses every single thing. God doesn't need you to change in order to use you for the good of the world. God can use every single thing you've got right now if you are willing. If you are willing. And here's Paul's willingness. He says, therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Melinda, not so much. Allowing the power of God to come through me, all I have to do is get little Melinda out of the side, out of the way, so that God can come through me. So this is your practice. Love yourself. Know you deserve good things. Do your meditation work. Do your affirmation work. Go to a counselor if that's what you need. I think that so much of the spiritual path is about learning to know that you're worthy. If you get that, lots of other things fall into place. Roadblock number 3, we literally just can't receive because we've forgotten how. We're out of practice. We haven't done it in so long. So let me ask you this. Do you ever turn down a gift? Good for you. Do you argue with people who compliment you ever? Do you deflect it? Do you turn down help when people say, may I help you? Do you say, oh, I got it. Thank you, though. Thank you, though, because I could do it better myself anyway, right? Okay, I gotcha. That's the story. So we're out of balance, and when we say no to those gifts, we create that imbalance. We need to find the balance again. And so here's some ways to do that. I swear, this will open the doors of heaven to you. Now, maybe some of you are great receivers, and you can just go get your coffee and cookies, and you don't have to listen to the rest of us. But I have received gifts in my life that I did not use because they were so good, I was saving them for good. Raise your hand if you have a gift card from Christmas that you have not yet spent. Okay? Go shopping. Go shopping. How many of you received like really, really expensive perfume and you're waiting to use it for that particular day? That's a good day. And in the meantime, you're just wearing your, body spray or whatever. How many of you have gotten, I just love when people would give me beautiful, good lotion. And I was like, oh, it's wonderful. It smells so good, and it's so I'll use the Jergens because today's not a special day. On the special day, I'll use that lotion. Well, let me tell you, I have let them rot. I have opened my linen closet on the day that, by golly, I'm going to use the good lotion today, and it is separated. And it doesn't smell good. You have to double bag it to get it out of there. Is that manna from heaven? Right? I saved it and then I couldn't use it because I didn't trust that there would be new good coming my way. Oh, if I use up the good that I have, then there won't be any for the time that I need it. It's simply not true. It's simply not true. But if you don't use that lotion, the message you are telling to the universe is, I don't need good lotion. Jergens is good enough for me. And the universe answered my message. It went, okay, let's spoil this one. Right? So I have some practices for you. Use your gifts. Wear the nice clothes. Use the china. Okay? For an everyday. Use it. Drink your good coffee. I used to say, people would give me coffee as a gift because they know I love good coffee, and I would save it. I would put it in the freezer, and then it wouldn't taste good anymore after a few months of drinking Folgers every day. Well, I'm here to tell you I have good coffee every single day of my life now. And when I start to run out, more comes at me because that's the way it works. So So use your gifts, whatever gifts you already had, and that includes the gifts you've been given as skills and talents. The treasure that you already have, use it, or you're telling the universe that you don't need anymore. I'm serious about this. What are you telling the universe? And then practice accepting, graciously receiving all compliments, even if you don't agree. Right? You ever try to talk somebody out of saying you look good today? Oh my gosh, I hardly slept last night. I've got these big bags under my eyes. We do that. You know what? It's rude. It's rude. It denies the giver how good it feels to give something. And it denies us how good it could feel to receive something if we let it in. So when someone compliments you, do this. Go, before you answer at all, take in a breath, just like you're just sucking in that compliment. And then you can say thank you. Because the gift that person is giving you is not telling you who you are. They're giving you the vision they have of you. They're giving you the gift of being able to see yourself through their eyes for a moment. And other people's eyes are usually a lot gentler on us than our own eyes are. Third thing, do this for 30 days. Accept all offers of help. Even if you don't need it, even if you know you could do it better by yourself. That's a story I tell. I could do better by myself. Well, even if I could do it faster with someone else's help, perhaps. Or I just need the practice to say yes, even if I have to go back and clean up something. I need the practice in saying yes. And when someone does help you, breathe it in, take it in. Don't go, okay, she's helping me, so that means I could accomplish 6 more things today. No, they helped you. Now you have some rest time. Take it in. Appreciate the help. Say thank you. Yes, thank you. The other roadblock I see that we have is our attachment. We attach to stuff, like we talked that manna from heaven, and we also attach to our stories. You know, my story was always, I can do it better myself. If you want it done right, you've got to do it yourself. That was my story for many, many years, and I made myself exhausted and pretty obnoxious by perpetuating that story. And the truth is, I need help sometimes. And what I learned is as soon as I started saying yes to people who said, can I help you? My relationships, I developed relationships with them. I wasn't pushing them away. I was letting people into my life, not just letting their help in, but letting their love in. And my life got better. So, I have to practice making room in my life. A few months ago, I ordered a new dining room table, getting it before Thanksgiving for my big family dinner. And before the day of delivery, I got an email that said, where your delivery is coming tomorrow. And what we need you to do is take out the old dining room table and all the chairs and clear a path from the front door to the dining room. If that is not done, we will not deliver your table, and we will charge you for the delivery. That's a metaphor, y'all, okay? If you don't make space, you're telling the universe, I don't need that new dining room table. I'm holding on to this old one. If you want new clothes, go through your closet and get rid of some clothes. Give them to someone who needs them. If you want a relationship that is in balance, if you feel like you're always given and they're always taken, then perhaps you have to move out of that relationship and create a void so that the universe hates a void. They will fill it. It will fill. It will get filled. But we don't get voids filled if we don't make space, if we don't make room for it. So we have to make room in our lives. Also, we get attached to our dreams. We get attached to how something should look. And I know that sometimes I have been concentrating so hard on, I want that trip to Galveston, that I miss the plane to Hawaii. That I was so concerned about catching the bus that I didn't even see the limousine that had pulled up in front of me. We do that because we go, no, this is what I need to go to the beach, and this is what it looks like. And I'm going to treasure map it, and I'm going to put pictures of Galveston all over this poster, and all those other people are going to Hawaii. How did that happen? Right? We get attached to our dreams. If your dream is different, it's not that you've sold out your former self in your dreams. It's that you've grown up and your dreams have changed. And even if your dreams have not changed, you have to leave space for what they look like. God will give you what you need and mostly what you want, but it may not come in the package that you're expecting. It may come in a different package. So being open to that. And open to, we get attached to our stories. I can do it better myself. You know, we get attached to those things. Here's another story. I've been happily married for 20 years. Well, that may be true. But did you ask yourself this morning how you felt about your marriage? Are you in real time? Or is this the story you've been telling? Because if it's just the story you've been telling, you're going to wake up one day and feel really, really miserable. Another story. I collect Hummel figurines. Well, you know, I got tired of my Hummels a long time ago, but I wouldn't admit it, and people kept giving them to me. Right? Because that was my story. I collect Hummel figurines. Well, I don't anymore. Don't give me your Hummels. If you want one, call me. I might have one for you. If you tell the universe you don't need help, it's not going to help you. So your practice here is in setting goals, be flexible. And the other way that we prevent our good from happening is through our judgment. We're constantly judging something as good, bad, acceptable, non-acceptable. We accept it, we reject it, you know, what if here's the deal that I had to learn. It's not only grace when it goes my way. It's always grace. It's always grace. In the past 5 years, I lost almost everything that I thought was important to me. I'm still married to the same guy and I still have my child, but everything else in my life changed. I had to leave. My conscience dictated for me to leave a job that I was passionate about and had been in for almost 24 years. It was my social life. It was my love. It was my spiritual life. It was so many things to me, and I had to let go of it. That's what Spirit told me in prayer. It's time to let go. I felt like it was the end of the world, and yet new worlds opened up to me when I let go. My best friend died, who was my musical partner for 20 years. My father died. My mother was diagnosed with dementia. I had to move her into a home. I had to sell her home. You know, so that thought, I can always go home to mommy and daddy. Nope, you can't. I couldn't. And I was like, okay, well, I'm unemployed right now, but my husband has a really good job. Well, guess what? His business partner walked in one day and said, I don't like working with you. I want you out of here. Everything I tried to hold on to went away. And it seemed bad. But what I had to learn is that if you hold on to things that change, it will always be bad. But if you hold on to grace, if you hold on to God, you are so protected. You are so cared for, as the Daily Word says today. You are so safe. There is more good coming. You don't have to hold on to today's good or yesterday's good. You can trust that there's more good tomorrow. So recap, graciously receive all compliments, use your gifts, gift cards, you're going shopping today, right? Accept offers of help, learn your worth, raise your level of expectancy, but don't fall in love with how things should look. Accept life as it comes. And then appreciate what you already have. Because gratitude is the practice that will change your life if you do nothing else but start to say thank you. Thank you is an admission that there is more for me, that I already have something good. Thank you is saying, well, I have something to be thankful for. As soon as we do that, we open up the channels and more comes and more comes. So making room for grace. Let's go into meditation really quickly. I've talked a little long. get so caught up. So just make yourself comfortable. Get your body straight so that the breath can flow through you, so it's not restricted by your neck or hunched over shoulders. And as you focus on the breath, just slow it down a little bit. Breathe in to the count of 4, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. When you slow the breath down and you pay attention to it, it brings you to the good of this moment. And whether you've thought about it or not before, you were created however many years ago and then left on your own. If God didn't have plans for you, if the universe wasn't using you in marvelous ways, then you would not have this breath in this moment. This breath is physical, tangible proof that God is actively sustaining you. Can you feel that love? How does God sustain love? Can you feel that love flowing through you? It comes into your lungs and then it's sent out to every part of your body. So as you breathe, feel the love filling up your lungs. Feel the love filling up your abdomen. Feel the love coming up through Mother Earth, through the bottoms of your feet, filling your legs. Feel the love coming down from Father Sky, from the heavenly realms, coming down through the top of your head, your crown chakra, filling you up. That's really what's happening. We're not actually breathing from the soles of our feet or the tops of our heads, but when we breathe, that breath of love goes everywhere to nourish every single cell in our bodies. That's how much you're loved. So imagine how insulting it is to God if you think you're not worthy. God doesn't mind being insulted, but you're giving the universe a message. Breathe in love and breathe out thanks. I'm receiving love and I'm giving out thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And when you are willing to receive the love and to give out gratitude, then you are in the flow of grace. And there may be something in your life today that you don't like, seems to not be turning out the way you wanted. I promise if you give it some time, God will grace you again. If you pay attention, God is already gracing you again. So when the resistance comes up in you, oh, that's not true. Oh, I don't want that. Oh, I don't deserve. Oh, I don't need. Whatever that resistance is inside you, pay attention to it. And then see yourself stepping aside and just making a little room for that grace to come in. It is always there for you. When you feel yourself filled up with grace, you can slowly come back to the room and open your eyes. And again, say thank you, thank you. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God. Thank you, love. Thank you, spirit. Thank you, power. Thank you, presence. And so it is. Amen.
do the offering blessing first, or do I go ahead and sing? Okay. It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I feel the love of God surround me, and I am touched by amazing grace. And all I ever wanted, and all I ever needed is already there. Closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air. And I breathe in, and I am filled with the Spirit. And it is health to my body, it is strength to my mind, it is joy, joy to my soul. And I breathe out my simple prayer, thank you. And my breath becomes a song that was singing all along, that is singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air. Then feel it. And I breathe in, and I am filled with the Spirit, and it is health to my body, it is strength to my mind, it is joy, it is joy, it is joy, it is joy, joy to my soul. Becomes a song that was singing all along, that is singing, singing, singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air. Thank you. Thank you. Blessings.